Thank you very much, Jensek, for sharing the items further, helping the other people capture the right one. Great job, great job, great job.
Mr. President, how are you? You are very happy.
I'm good.
I'm really happy today.
Absolutely, absolutely, because beautiful things are about happening.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I hope we are going to have a great discussion with our brothers and sisters today about the organization and its future.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can start. We have 40 people on board. So thank you very much for accepting our invitations to join us to this family meeting. So good evening, brothers and sisters. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the 2022 second OAD family meeting. We are really happy to have you on board for today's meeting. I'm Hulda Fombo from Benin Republic, PhD candidate at Nankai University, and I'm the current General Secretary of OAAD. And it is my honor to be the host of this meeting. So before we move to the business of the day, allow me to introduce the house to our new brothers and sisters, and also introduce the executive committee members to you so that you can know the house very well. So I'm going to share my screen. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So our house is OAAD, Organization of African Academic Doctors. What is our vision? Our vision is to enhance the quality of life in Africa through research, technology, and innovation. And the mission of the OAD is to doctor solutions for Africa and the world. The main objective is to bring African intellectuals together and foster development while engaging relevant internal and external stakeholders. So first of all, who are the members of OAAD? In OAAD, we are a multi-professional family of PhD holders and PhD scholars at home and abroad. We co-create opportunities for research, entrepreneurship, growth and development, even at old age. So right now, we have more than 46 research groups. We have research groups in almost every discipline. So if you want to do a research and you don't know how to go about it, these research groups are the best place to be, because we have people from from different backgrounds with a lot of experience that can mentor you in those groups. So briefly, I will go to some statistics of OAAD in 2021. So these are some statistics. We noticed that in terms of publication, in terms of research, so we noticed that the best is Earth and planetary science. They have the largest share of 27.37. The next one is our initiative, because as we said, OAD is not just about publications or collaborate to write papers. We also work on businesses and how to move from our academic life to our professional life. So for that, we have some projects that promote entrepreneurship. So we have a project like this initiative called Paper to Product Initiative that encourage our researchers to do researches that can be transformed into businesses, to economically viable entrepreneurship projects. So we also have peer review, co-authorship initiative. We also have solution for committee initiative. We also have networking and collaborative research, and many other initiatives. One is the OMG that aims to groom the master students to prepare them for their PhD career life. And many other initiatives that we didn't mention here for sake of brevity. Another one is that we are really engaged in capacity building. So here are some of our engagements. We have this one that has to do with digital economy. We have some other initiatives. You can have a look later. We will send the digital profile of Oaad in the group so you can have a clear idea of what is going on and what our house is about. So I will move to the presentation of the OAAD leadership. As every house, we also have a leadership. So the first is our president, Mr. Dr. Oaad Elijah. He is PhD holder in environmental management from Fudan University. He's currently working at OAAD Shanghai office on a private research. He's also the chairman of OAAD resident think tank and also the ESCO. He is a lecturer at University of Nigeria, and he's also the founder of Word Family. He's in so many things, I cannot list them all here. He will tell you more about himself later. So the next one is Dr. Ayugi. Dr. Ayugi is the East African Vice President. He is a PhD holder in climate system and climate change. He's from Kenya. He's currently at Seoul National University of Science and Technology in South Korea, working as senior scientific officer. He's our OAAD East Vice President. The next is our Southern Africa Vice President, Dr. Mavis Kolobe. She's a PhD scholar in business economics. She's from Botswana. She's currently at University of International Business and Economics at Beijing as PhD candidate. She's serving, as I said earlier, as our Southern Africa Vice President. She's also lecturer at University of Botswana, but currently on leave. The next one is our Central Africa Vice President, Dr. Mahamat Abdullahi Babet. We have Dr. Taha Hussein Musa, PhD holder in medicine. He's from Sudan, and he's our Northern Africa Vice President. Myself, I'm Hulda Fombo from Benin Republic, and I'm PhD candidate at Nanga University. I've already done my introduction, so I will move directly to the Assistant General Secretary, Mr. Olayemi Afiz. He's PhD candidate in philosophy of science, specialization in virtual ethic and responsible innovation. He's from Nigeria. He's our Assistant General Secretary. The next is Dr. Ididion, she's from Nigeria, currently at Georgia University as PhD candidate, and she's the assistant of public relation officer. We have Dr. Emmanuel, PhD in physical oceanography. He's from Nigeria, researcher at South China Sea Institute of Oceanography. He's at Guangzhou. He's member of Oaad think tank and our editor-in-chief. The next is our financial secretary, Dr. Victoria. We have as assistant editor-in-chief, Dr. Leonard. Our public relations officer, Dr. Hamza Suleiman. And the last one is our treasurer, who is Dr. Elisha. So this being said, we will move to the business of the day. But before we start, I will introduce our guest speakers to you. The first one is Dr. Samuel. Hello, Dr. Samuel.
Hello, hold on, I'm here. I can hear you.
Doctor. Happy to have you on board. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, and it's nice to have the opportunity to be on this platform today to share my experience. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. So, Dr. William Samuel is currently an associate professor at Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology Chinese Academy of Science. He obtained a PhD degree in pattern recognition and intelligence system from University of Chinese Academy of Science, Beijing. He focused on developing cutting-edge solutions to core problems in the field of rehabilitation robotics, human-machine interface, and clinical decision support system. Besides that, he's also engaged in teaching graduate students and mentor them forward, ensuring successful completion of the master and the doctoral degree program. This is the platform to you to say congratulations to you, Dr. Samuel, for your award as best teacher. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So besides being a wonderful teacher, he got a lot of awards for his outstanding researches and leadership qualities. He published more than 55 articles in peer-reviewed international journal indexed by Web of Science, and he has more than 2,300 citations. 3 of his articles featured on the list of the top 2 most influential papers, top 10 most cited papers, and the most cited papers on Web of Science and IOP Science. He is the chairman, co-chairman, TPC member of various reputable international conferences, as well as editorial board member of peer-reviewed journal, and currently serves as an advisory member of ELSP International Open Science Platform. Once again, welcome, Dr. Samuel.
My phone.
Our next
Thank you.
speaker,
Okay, thank you.
our next speaker is the current president of OAAD, Mr. Elijah. Dr. Elijah. As I said earlier, he's the current president of OAAD, and he's doing a great job for the organization. So today, these are the two speakers we are going to have who will share their experience in terms of entrepreneurship, research, and also professional life with us. So without wasting time, I will go on the first question that we have to you today, dear speakers. The first question is for both of you. The question is that as young Africans, as we are immigrating in search of better opportunities elsewhere, can we still contribute to the pursuit of the sustainable development goals while away from our house? And how is it likely to affect the life of people who are on the continent now? So I will give the floor to Dr. Samuel. He will give us his thoughts about that question.
All right, thank you, Holder. And before I respond, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the organizers and sponsors of this event for having me on this platform today. I really do appreciate that. Yes, you mean as we're in search of opportunities, even away from home, motherland Africa, that's how can we contribute, right, to helping our people back home?
Yeah.
Okay, there are many ways in which we could be part of what is going on back home. I mean, in the academia, because OAD actually it's a platform or a forum of academics. So as academics, I believe we all at one point in time, maybe not every one of us, but most of us did studied in Africa. And it is important that wherever we are, we should still find ways of connecting with our various institutions back home and try to see how we can, give back. Give back can be in terms of what OAD does, part of what OAD does every now and then, trying to organize seminars and also invites people from various institutions in Africa to be part of these seminars to get to know what is going on in the academics in other parts of the world, trying to look for ways to bridge the knowledge gap between perhaps China and the West and Africa, getting our young academics and even our teachers that taught us aware of what is going on. So we should continually be part of this kind of initiative. And also, what I would also like to add to that is this. If there are opportunities for collaboration, I mean, when it comes to research, not just putting up awareness campaigns on what is going on, but if there are opportunities for collaboration between us, we in the diaspora, we should try and look for ways to establish such collaborations with our various institutions back home. It can be in terms of research or even development, or if we have some sort of opportunity to access some resources here, and we have the power, to mobilize those resources back to Africa. These could be equipments, that are no longer being used, perhaps because they have latest versions here. And if we could negotiate with our various institutions, it could be in China, you can be in America, you can be in the UK, in Australia, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is looking for ways to get these resources, back to Africa. At least this could be helpful in upgrading the level of research, and even in terms of letting our people know what is going on, especially the young scholars. So in this way, they might be able to help themselves in terms of knowledge and skill. I mean, upgrading their knowledge and skill. And of course, not compete with the West, but move a little bit up the ladder. Thank you. So I would leave Dr. Oaad to take it up from there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Samuel, for your answer. So, Dr. Elijah, it's up to you now.
Thank you very much, Hulda. Is my voice clear enough?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear from here.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, and thank you very much, Professor Samuel, for the input you already provided. Really beautiful one. And thanks to everyone who has come on board to participate in today's meeting. And indeed, of course, we know that there are 17 SDGs, and the core aspiration of these SDGs is that there should be enhanced quality of life for all humans everywhere. And that's why the catchword or the buzzword for the SDGs, which are linkages from the 2030 agenda 2030, is that none be left behind. That none be left behind. That's the core aspiration, that none be left behind. There should be inclusive growth, inclusive development, carrying people along, because some of the major lessons they learned from the MDGs was that localization was extremely important in terms of funding, in terms of human capital, and those who are supposed to implement the development across the continent should be people from the various places. So we Africans, although we have been uprooted from our roots, as it were, temporarily, we must remember that we must still have our roots plugged into the soil somehow, so that we can keep alive. And also, that trees usually, when they grow, the leaves fall. And when the leaves fall, it further facilitates the growth of the tree itself. So if we assume ourselves to be those trees, we are not going to absolutely leave our roots. And also, we must be providing leaves and fruits to continuously fall, so that every other person we've left behind will be able to benefit from that. And because we are the ones who have the responsibility to implement sustainable development goals, the SDGs, in our villages, in our localities. So one of the very practical ways that we can do that, and we are doing that, is that when you are designing your research, irrespective of your field, irrespective of the area of research, somehow keep your village in your head. Think about your village when you are designing your research. From experience and from several persons we've talked to about this, there is something that happens to you when you are thinking about your hometown and you are designing your research. One thing that's going to happen is that in the years ahead, even if that technology is not currently available there, you who has gone out, it's your responsibility to be able to take back that opportunity to them, because there are other young people who have equally capable brains, who have hailed from those places, but are not able yet to assess what you are currently assessing. So if you keep this in your mind constantly, not just remembering your parents or your siblings or your relatives, but keeping your village at heart, that's extremely important. There is something that happens to your heart, something that happens to your research, and the great expectation is that in the years ahead, you may be able to translate that research into viable business opportunities. You build it into something that can generate income for yourself and for other people from that place, because it's your responsibility to develop that place. And of course, wherever you are, we are global citizens, and we'll keep working to make better the place where we are at the moment. If you are in China, if you're in the US, if you're in Europe, if you're in the Antarctica, whichever part of the world you are in Australia, just do your best there, be the best you can be there while contributing to the SDGs, because that's what we must be known for. People who are able to make things happen wherever we find ourselves. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Dr. Samuel, for your clear answers. I will move to the second question. In fact, we noticed that more and more African graduate students, let's say, after their graduation, they tend to seek for academic positions abroad, especially in China. So as both of you are in academic positions in China, we would like to know why more and more African scholars are seeking for academic positions in China. So this question is for Professor Samuel.
All right,
Sorry,
thank you.
Before Professor Samuel answers, let me say that I'm not in academic position in China, just for clarity, just for the records. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Samuel, you can proceed.
All right, thank you, Holder. Actually, there are a number of factors, why foreign experts tend to seek academic positions in China. And one of such factor is because, now why they should seek academic positions rather in China. One of such factors is because China now welcomes foreigners, they want to be sort of internationalized. And there are lots of plans and policies that supports foreign academics coming to China, to take up academic jobs. And one of the reasons actually why foreigners are now coming to China more frequently than the way it used to be in the past years is because the funding that Chinese government itself has made available for academics has gone up significantly compared to the past decade. When you look at what academics often earn in 10 years ago compared to what the academics in China earn today, there is a wide margin. So this is one reason. Another reason, in my opinion, or from my experience and research, is because there are also a number of funding opportunities, fundings that could allow you to conduct basic or applied or interdisciplinary research, depending on your area of interest. I mean, your kind of research, the kind of research that you engage in. And in fact, these kind of fundings are specifically meant for research and not to pay staff, such as lab assistants. If you acquire a funding, normally you're expected to pay in the West, I mean in the Western part of the world, you're expected to pay your research assistants and other staff from the funding. And at the end of the day, you might not have sufficient amount left to do the actual research. But in China, it's a little bit different. Significant amount of the funding you get is being devoted towards conducting research or either buying equipment that would help you be able to carry out that actual research. So these are some of the reasons why.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, my Zoom just logged me out. Sorry. So
All right.
thank you very much. I will go back to Mr. President to hear from you because I know that you have lots of friends and you know many people, many Africans who are in the academic positions here. So what do you think can be the reason beside those that Professor Samuel has already mentioned? What could be other reasons that motivate Africans to take academic positions here?
Thank you very much, Hulda. I would want to say that many Africans are aware of the potential and current unfolding geopolitical influence or geopolitical significance of China. And also a good number of us, this is just where I've just mentioned one reason. And then secondly, many young Africans find it easier to come to study here because in many occasions, many of those who seek academic positions are also people who have graduated from the universities here. So let me step back a little to why people come here to study, because why they come here to study is also connected to why they get to link up with dealing with getting into academic positions here. So the many of them, after some of the reasons they want to come here to study, the tuition fee for those who come on self-sponsorship, the tuition fee is relatively lower compared to what you have in the Western world and some other parts of the world. And then another thing is that this is kind of a more altruistic, or depending on what people's perceptions or what people's interests are. Many people have told me that why they chose to come to China is that China has the problems of China are still very close to the problems of Africa, and they think they can learn. They can follow the development of the science or follow the development of the research, unlike when it's compared to what has been done in some places where the systems have been set running for over 200 years in such institutions. So in China, many things are ongoing, and China is just actively living where Africa is and hopes to live. So these young people and entrepreneurs believe that coming here, they will be able to learn how things are unfolding. They will be able to see the secret of the progress that has been made in China, and that may help them to be able to bring back some of those ideas to make things work better in their own countries. So let me just peg it at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President, for your contribution. My next question is in the same line with the previous question. So it will be for Professor Samuel. So since we are all looking for evaluation, like we want to progress from one card to a higher card, what are the requirements for young Africans in the academic position to move to another level here? What are the requirements, the qualities they need to have?
All right, thank you, Oaad. First, we as Africans, we must recognize the fact that China has a lot of population, right? And I know once we leave home, or perhaps for some of us that didn't come to China from home, I'm specifically talking about those in China, we need to try as much as we can to do our best in our various fields of endeavor. I mean, research and studies here. Actually, one of the things you need to get into the academics here, when I mean academics, I'm talking about the higher institution, maybe from colleges and universities, is that it's far more easier when you have a PhD. Then you can begin to chase after an assistant professor position or a postdoctoral research fellow, right?
Yeah.
It depends on certain factors that surrounds you. As some of us know in China, for postdoctoral research fellowship, there is a sort of age limitation. Most institutions only tend to give employment to young researchers who are 35 or below. I mean, postdoctoral research fellowship position. And one of the reasons is that the China Postdoctoral Commission also usually give some sort of, there's a sort of support that comes for postdoctoral research fellows that are 35 or below, which makes the take home or whatever you will be earning to be very much attractive. But once you're above 35, in some cases, maybe slightly above 35, you might be able to get postdoctoral fellow position. But once you're moving close to 40, it's difficult. So for such individuals, they might be thinking of getting into positions like assistant professor, you know, and moving from either postdoctoral fellow or from assistant professor to associate professor, you might need to have at least, as far as I know, some years of working experience, 2, 3, from the time you got your PhD to that time in terms of experience. And there are other criteria, not just getting a PhD. You're expected to have at least got some kind of funding if you are within the Chinese system. I mean, be the principal investigator of a research grant. This is one. Publish some good quality paper, maybe in Q2, at least in Q2 journals, JCR. When I talk about Q2 means the quota. JCR means Journal Citation Report, or some people call SCI, Science Citation Index. So these are some of the things you need to prepare our minds towards, like doing well in our PhD, you know, publishing our research outputs in good journals, you know, and taking those opportunities, taking everything as serious as we can, knowing fully well that once we are above 35, after PhD, it might be a little bit challenging going into postdoctoral fellowship positions here in China. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, you answered it,
okay,
and very clearly. Thank you very much for your answer and also your advices. I believe that all our brothers and sisters who are here today, they heard you and they will do it accordingly. So I will move to the next question that had to do with entrepreneurship. So it will be for both of you. So my question is, an advancement of SDGs by Africa, by SDGs by African early career researchers and entrepreneurs require technology and innovation, as we know. So how are we doing in this, and what are our prospects and competitive advantages as African early career researchers and entrepreneurs in China? What are our prospects and competitive advantages? So the question, we go first to Dr. Elijah, and then we come back to Professor Samuel. So Professor Elijah, Dr. Elijah, yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
He's a professor in the making, sorry.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I hope I like to be a professor, because I think you professors are doing a lot of work, and yes, of course, I love to do a lot of work too, but I think I really love seeing the progress happening in entrepreneurship as well. And of course, this question is for entrepreneurs, right? Yes, so it's beautiful to see what Africans are doing in that not it's no longer all just about being a professor or being in the academia. A lot of Africans are beginning to understand that our scenarios are different, our situations are different, and we cannot easily play the game the same way that other people from other places do play the game. And of course, it should be very clear that indeed a lot of professors and people in the academia, for many of them actually, they earn more money from doing some consultancy-based things than even from salaries. And those consultancy-based things are things that they have been able to develop based on their competencies, which have been fed into the entrepreneurial world. I have interacted with a lot of us, many of our members. This gives me a lot of joy. Many of our members are driving deep into the space of entrepreneurship. No matter how little it may be, many of them, in some occasions, are not necessarily based on what they have just done as their own research, but also diversifying into other aspects, while not failing to do their job. They are doing their job, they are publishing their papers, they are doing all of that, but they are also looking into these areas because we are Africans and we need to, at this time, turn our research into products and services. And of course, we have again and again talked about our paper to product initiative, which has shown us, and we have emphasized again and again, that gone are those days when we will sit back and complain about the fact that the big publishing houses like Elsevier and other ones are making a lot of money off the publications that researchers are doing. A lot of complaints happen in this regard. And of course, those things keep flying because the methods of assessment of universities in terms of promotion of people remain tagged and linked to that. So it remains relevant over time, because if you're able to publish, you can be promoted. And when you're promoted, you can feel good and you can get some extra money. And you'll be able to also make more impact in terms of the work you have been able to put in place. So if so indeed, I want to mention that Africans are beginning to understand that again and again. And if you look at the volume of the number of unicorns being raised on the continent, many of them within the ICT space, within the fintech space, it's showing evidence that indeed this is where our competitive advantage is, because we have young people in a situation where we have up to 70% of the people being young and within the range of 30 years to 40, 45, that range. This is a huge power base. And we have come to a point where Africans must understand that, like in the space of Professor Samuel, who is in the artificial intelligence section, indeed, brothers and sisters, in the AI space, it's not just all about funding. Even if all the equipment are there and the machines and all those resources are there, what people are able to make of it depends on the individual's thinking ability, depends on the individual's innovativeness, depends on the individual's activity. And since we have a huge number of innovative people, hardworking young people who are very hungry for better life, who are very hungry for an enhanced quality of life, not just for themselves, but they are fully aware that there's a retinue of people, a long list of people who are waiting for them and looking up to them, whose futures are to a great extent tied to their own progress. So this is a space where African young people are beginning to make a huge, huge progress. And of course, we are getting involved by ensuring that we position ourselves accurately, and we are strongly disposed to harness and put together, to coordinate these activities of these young people, such that we are not just beating about the bush, but we have a strong framework of engagement that in the years ahead, anybody who is going to be desiring to engage with the continent will have a formidable platform that they can engage with, because we have a huge number of personnel, human resources, who understand what the continent needs and who understand that they are global citizens and need to contribute to the development of the world in immeasurable ways. So I must say kudos to African young people for the great things they are doing, the work they are doing, the research you are doing. Now in this meeting, we have 85 people and more are coming in. And this is because we have a strong desire to enhance the quality of lives of not just ourselves, but of people on the continent. So as we engage one another, just like we've mentioned recently, on Tuesday, of course, we're going to announce it subsequently, but this is a good point to mention it. On Tuesday, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization will be addressing Africans. So we call upon us to, to not just Africans, but people from developing countries and people from all around the world who are able to think about innovative ideas and bring to bear their innovative capacities towards implementation of the SDGs, particularly looking at how they can contribute in terms of mitigation, adaptation to climate change, and other innovative green technologies. And many of us are doing beautiful research in this. So please, on Tuesday by 4 p.m., we're going to share the meeting link soon. On Tuesday by 4 p.m., prepare yourself to participate. Listen, see how you can key into it, because there's going to be a lot of global linkages to opportunities. There's going to be capital docking. There's going to be opportunity for you to talk about your solutions at the global stage. Let me not just consume all this time, but please, over to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You've almost spoken everything. Well, just a few things to add. Yeah, if we look at Africa today, Africa seems to be the land, even though a lot of resources have been tapped from Africa, be it human resource and natural resources. But Africa is still not one of the, I say Africa is still the most blessed continent. We don't have natural disasters in Africa across most African countries, as far as I know. And a lot of things are going on, especially for some of us that have the privilege to be in this part of the world for now. And foreigners, actually, most Westerners or people from the East are really taking advantage of those things back in Africa, doing a lot of businesses and going to interpret, whether small, medium, or large-scale entrepreneurship. And just like the president spoke a while ago, that we should try as academics, to be part of this process, not just publish paper, do research, publish, and when you publish, the only thing we seek after is to get promoted as academics. No, we should take much more benefit from our intellectual works. One of the most difficult tasks to do are actually tasks, are intellectual tasks, things that requires you to think, which is what research is all about. You have to think again and again and again before you're able to come up with an idea, before you're even able to design an experiment, to collect data, analyze the data, and the data will fall in line with your idea. It takes a lot of effort. So we should look beyond, just publishing. And more important, I would like to remind us is we should rewrite our, history. The world thinks nothing good can come out from Africa. But I'm glad in the recent times, not even those in diaspora, even in Africa, just like Dr. Oaad mentioned a while ago, that there are a lot of things happening in terms of entrepreneurship in the fintech industry and AI industry, even in Africa, being run by Africans, so we could be part of these things as well, so that we don't just, as academics, Dr. Oaad used to say something, I think it's one of the slogans of Oaad, that academics are not supposed to be poor, which I totally agree. While we try to do research, we should ensure that we do it, to the highest quality possible. And at the same time, think outside the box, the usual box of, being used for promotion alone or just recognition. But also think outside the box. Thinking outside the box, meaning how can my intellectual works bring extra income? You could be consulting for some firms. You can set up an entrepreneurship framework. You could set up some companies where gradually you would, where you would gradually transform your research output to product and services. And Africa has the market. You don't need to travel to China. You don't need to export to China. We don't need to export those things to Europe. We don't need to export to America. Africa has a huge market for our products once we make sure that the products are designed and developed, taking into consideration the needs of the people or our environment back in Africa. People will buy. People will patronize your product and services. And by so doing, we would not be depending on salaries alone, but we would be making a lot of money. And the most important thing about this is giving other people as academics livelihood. You would have to, a time will come when the business would scale up. You have to recruit people, you have to employ people. You empower young people and so on. So these are some of the things I just wanted to add to all that Dr. Oaad has mentioned earlier on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Samuel and Dr. Elijah. So my next question is about collaboration.
Somebody mentioned in the chat box that he or she has a contribution.
Yeah,
That's about 20 minutes ago.
Yes.
This is 8:59, around 8:38.
Yes. In fact, I was planning my objective that we discussed about that in the discussion session, because we are going to have a discussion section just after we finish with questions in order to keep it flow. So I think we will move to the next question, and then I will come back to him.
All right.
Okay, so the next question is about collaborations. As all of you have mentioned, Oaad is about collaboration. So we would like to know what is the importance of learning like a new language. Let's say in the context of China, what is the importance for us as academics to learn Chinese language in order to collaborate with Chinese researchers? Because in collaborations, we come to share, to learn from them, to learn the technologies and learn the leadership and learn from them. Can language be a barrier for us? Or what is the importance for young African researchers here to learn a language, a Chinese language in particular, in the research context? So here is a question. Dr. Odi, I will go directly at you. What do you think about that question?
Okay, thank you very much, Huda. I think that learning Chinese language will definitely enhance one's output if the goal is about volume of number of people or volume of people you collaborate with. But also if it's just about going ahead to do your work, actually there are enough number of people who are able to speak English. But if there's a certain kind of work you want to do, that you will need to be able to possess the Chinese language. For example, there were certain things I couldn't do during my PhD because I couldn't speak the Chinese language. I needed to engage with some communities to check out their remediation, the potentials of remediation, because I did stuff on sustainable remediation. So I couldn't do that. I couldn't incorporate that into my work because I am not able to speak Chinese well. Of course, I just speak the small ones that people use to move around. Yeah. So, but I believe indeed that having the Chinese language capacity, it can be a barrier, but you may also be able to find a way to navigate it. And also, if you want to go beyond just publishing papers and you want to be able to participate in grant application and in running of projects, Chinese language again comes extremely handy and very necessary because you will be able to contribute more effectively in conversations about the project if you are there in board meetings. Like I've interacted with a lot of African professors or foreign professors. When they go for board meetings, they just sit down and they don't really contribute. I don't know about Professor Sam. Maybe he will talk about that in his in his input. Please, over to you, Professor Sam. What do you do when you are in board meetings?
All right, thank you, sir. Actually, it's going back to the question on whether it is necessary for an academic to learn Chinese language to be able to collaborate well with the Chinese researchers. Just like you have mentioned, it is very essential. If you have opportunity to do so, please take such an opportunity. Try to learn the language, because you won't be needing much of interpretation during meetings if you understand what they are saying. It is natural. I think we shouldn't expect that they would speak English when they have meetings, because this is China. The language here is China, and sorry, it's Chinese. They want to discuss, even if it's science, they want to discuss in Chinese. And I believe in discussing in Chinese would help them to be able to understand clearly what they are saying, I mean, among the Chinese. So it's not their fault. If it's not their fault, we shouldn't take it at them if they are not speaking English or they are not speaking French for some of us from Francophone countries. But then if you have any opportunity to learn, I would strongly advise that you learn. This would help you to be able to collaborate with the Chinese researchers easily. Then important also is for you to be able to understand the culture and the environment. You know, these are key also in collaborating with them, even though language is important. But at least in some cities in China now, you have more, like in Shenzhen, and I think maybe in Shanghai and Guangzhou, they have a number of people that can speak good English. I mean, even the Chinese researchers. In a group, you could find someone that could speak in English and explain certain things regarding projects and all that with you. But in a nutshell, it is still very important. You know, there is nothing as good as when you go into meeting or you are having discussions, you don't need translation, you know, you can understand what they are saying. Even when someone is translating to you, how are you sure that what that person is translating is correct? You just have to accept whatever they tell you, at least to a very high degree or high frequency, perhaps most of the time. If they tell you this is what they have discussed, this is what they are planning, you may not want to doubt them, because when you begin to doubt, this may affect your relationship and all that. So in a nutshell, it is important, especially those that have opportunity to learn Chinese. Please do learn, even if it's not at professional level, I mean writing level, at least just at verbal communication level, you can understand, you can go back, interpret well, and know exactly what they've talked about and what they are planning or what you guys are planning. This will help go a long way in collaborating with them, with the Chinese researchers, with our Chinese researchers.
Okay, thank you very much. So it is very important for us as researchers, not only as researchers, but as foreigners in China, to learn the local language. It can be useful for us in academia or in business and in our daily life. So thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Samuel. Thank you, Dr. Oaad, for all your answers, your contributions. So the next thing we will do is to move to the family discussion, because it is a family meeting. We would like to discuss with everybody and hear their minds on how to build our organization and their contributions on some of the questions that had been asked before. So I will open the floor to, I will ask one question by going back to our brother Sam. Please, Sam, are you still with us? Hello, Sam, are you still with us? Okay.
Sam's here. He's still here. I can see him.
Yes. So I will hand over to him to give his contribution about about a question that we asked Professor Samuel. The question was about what it was about why African researchers seek for academic positions in China.
Why African researchers seek
for academic positions in China? He wanted to make a contribution, but I was waiting for the discussion session so more people can contribute to that, can give their point of view about that question because it is relevant to all of us.
Sure, we are happy to learn from him.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Samuel David. I am currently a PhD student in comparative education, Southwest University, Chongqing, China.
Okay,
can you hear me?
Yes, nice to meet you. You can go ahead.
Okay, I think I want to make contribution on why Africans are getting teaching positions in universities in China. I think one of the reasons from my experience from what is happening in my school is that African researchers are dedicated to their works, and it boils down to the level of tenacity they put when they are doing research, and they're among the best from what I'm seeing. Like from my own university, in one of the science units, a Nigerian is running a postdoc position there, and when it is time to recruit other postdoc, Chinese supervisor professor asked him to just get a Nigerian. And he tried and tried and tried. The woman said, "You only get me a Nigerian to come and occupy a postdoc position that is left." And there are so many Pakistanis. The woman said no, that she doesn't know that people from other, like Pakistanis or from East Asians or other areas, that she needed just a Nigerian. So that is to show you that people who are also carrying out research are dedicated to what they are doing, and the result is being seen. So like China, who runs meritocracy, they usually believe on merit. So if you perform very well and maybe you're seeking a teaching position, oh, you see, it's very easy. You see how the supervisors your professors will walk around to make sure that you are being retained in the school. So I think I also want to encourage us, like other researchers, to also put in their best wherever you see yourself. And nobody knows, you might end up school returning you to be one of the staff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the testimony and also the advices. I will hand over to Des. Somebody left his hand. Oh no.
Okay,
Yeah,
can I
Des.
quickly add to that?
Okay, you can.
All right, thank you, Sam. I think that relates to one of the questions. Actually, I would add to that, it's quite commendable for you to have mentioned this. Thank you so much. But I think in the questions, we were not asking how do I put it? How or why are Africans or why are young scholars getting positions? Maybe there is slight mix up. But absolutely, our brother Sam is correct, you know, in the sense that many of us that are here, you know, especially those of us from Africa, we do extra, we put in a lot of work, I mean, seriousness into our studies and our research. And at the end of the day, we would normally have much more accomplishment, I mean achievements, compared to, on a general scale, compared to our counterparts from other parts of the world, let me say Asia, to be specific, like he mentioned, Pakistan and other Asian countries. So this is one of the, he's very correct. We have that experience. I have that experience here in my institution as well. And in fact, I was being told that, okay, we don't want students from this, we don't want postdoc from this. Why? Because they have seen us do well. And it's really good you are mentioning this to us. And it still connects to the fact that we need to change their narratives. You know, I will add to that, there are certain narratives, especially about we Africans here. For example, when I got here in my institution several years ago, you know, and someone told me honestly, of course, that, oh, what they've been known, or what he has known about Africans is that they are this, they are that. But that after he moved close, he saw that this is not true, you know. And there are lots of propaganda. I'm happy. So let's be good ambassadors. Thank you so much for adding this contribution, Brother Sam. Let's be good ambassadors of Africa and our various countries, you know. And this will open more opportunities for us. Like those people, of course, this will also increase our bargaining power, you know, like, for example, those people in your, I mean, those faculty members or those professors in your university that are seeking to recruit postdoc from Africa. The postdoc can even negotiate, they can go extra miles to get documents, to get things for those guys to be recruited as postdoctoral fellows, or even assistant professor fellow, or even associate professor, because they know if they get the job, they will take the job seriously and they would contribute meaningfully. And they will contribute meaningfully. So thank you, Brother Sam, for that wonderful answer.
Okay.
I don't understand how many days we have to wait for GP.
Thank you very much. I will hand over to Des. The name is DES, who raised his hand. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I want to thank our guests for their wonderful contribution. My name is Chukwuma Nzube. I'm a PhD candidate in international politics at the Central China Normal University, Wuhan. Yeah, I just want us to a little bit change the question a little bit. Why are, for instance, most people who comes to China leave China after securing their master's or their PhD? Because the question should be, why are people leaving China? Because I know from my own record, out of 10, those who finished their postdoc, maybe their PhD, 8 are likely to leave to European countries. Why are people not coming from European countries to China? Why from Africa to China? Why is it directive? Then secondly, we should also ponder about this. The postdoc, the PhD, the masters, how has it built our career? When I mean career, you can see someone in my field, in other fields, who apart from lab, interact with professionals in the field, have one-on-one conversation, be inclusive, be part of the process. If you are doing a research, you are not part of the process in which your input is being taken care of, in which your contribution is being appreciated, not financially. Because I know most research, even in postdoc, some people will tell you, oh, I want to do postdoc because of the money is there. How the damage in our career building, have we thought of that? So why are people leaving after securing such position? Why are they not staying, being part of the process, being building the process has been done in another developed country? If you pick someone who is doing PhD in US, who is doing PhD in Canada, after that, he'll be part of the system. Even in Africa, if you are doing PhD, you'll be attached to a class, you'll be attached to a student. It's mentorship. Is it the same in China? Let's be realistic. So why are more people, once they get the certificates, they switch to Europe? Why are we not seeing people from Europe, Africa switch to China? Why from Africa to China, China to Europe? I think that should be our thoughts in our mind. Yeah, the postdoc is there. Yeah, we can do a lot of things, but we should ask ourselves, why are the system not inclusive? Why is it exclusive? So we should look into that as part of the questions. And again, yes, the idea that yes, China coming, the academic is cheap. How many people come on full self-sponsor and being part of the process, being learning, developing a career? That is just the point. So let's change the question. Why are people leaving? And those that left, how impactful are the career they gain, the certificate? How does it translate to their career building? I think that should be our thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, maybe we need to respond to that, right? Yes, thank you for your questions. Actually, you see, there are certain things that we more or less don't have control over. We just have to try to do our bit and hope that things change. If you look at the West, some of those countries, China is a little bit, of course, I'm not saying this to defend China. China is a bit different from the West in the sense that their system is still trying to open up. You know, people that were here 20 years ago and that are still in China can testify to how China has at least been more open, in terms of opening up to the wider community. And well, I believe with time, things will get better. And I want to say that, in my opinion, one of the reasons why you see that most people leave when they come for PhD studies here, and after that, most would leave. It goes beyond just the work, especially for some of us that have families. It's not really easy. It still boils down to the cultural difference, in my opinion. And that's one. Then two, also, the system is gradually opening up, in my opinion. I hope it will open up the more and more, I mean the Chinese system in the future. Like when it comes to other aspects, what gives you, what makes anyone or anybody wants to stay in a place for a relatively long or longer period, just goes beyond, it normally goes beyond work. When you look at other aspects of life and is not measuring up to at least what you expect, I don't know if you get me, especially if you have family, if you have kids have to go to schools. How many international schools do they have? The few ones that are here that kids can go to are pretty much expensive. I must be honest with you. These are some of the factors. And I think these are, in my opinion, things that are worth considering. And this factor might be responsible for a huge number of those completing their study here and relocating. So it's not actually easy. But looking at several years ago, it's much better today, which I believe the government wants to be more open. I mean, they want to be more open, and perhaps in the future, things might change. So I don't know if I've been able to answer that. Onyx, brother Onyx also?
Yeah, I heard what you said, but I
So
also want to
this might be one major responsibility. People look beyond work. The culture is also important, and other aspects of your life, which is relatively challenging here, from my experience.
Yeah, but the question is the system willing to open? Not being open is benefiting the class. So they cannot open the system.
See, I always tell people from my little experience, I also try to be, well, this is how I see it. I try to be open and objective as much as I can. The States, for example, you could talk about some countries, let's be. You can use some countries, the West or the States. China has a population of over 1.4 billion people. And the thing is, well, you would say I'm selfish. I think every country should place its citizens first. I'm from Nigeria. If I happen to be an administrator or the president of Nigeria, I would first ensure that resources go round for Nigerians. I'm sorry to say, of course, it's not that I won't treat my Cameroonians, my Ghanaians, my South Africans, my, how do I call them? Other African brothers, my Sudan brothers, my Niger brothers, my Egyptian brothers well. But charity begins at home. You first make sure that things are well done at home, then you begin to extend resources to outsider. This land has a huge population, and they might be wanting to be careful about that. I'm not sure, but this is what I'm sensing. Like in the States or in the West, population is not a problem. And look at menial jobs. Do you find foreigners doing menial jobs here? The answer is no, they have people that can do all those things. For example, I'm deviating a little bit. I've spent over 8 years here, and sometimes I look at these things and I try to compare. And I actually tell myself, for some reasons, we may not be able to, it may not be objective, or it may be biased to directly compare this nation with the West. So it's not as if I have any bias or I'm trying to support or speak for them. But I think they know some of these things. And in fact, I must be open to you. A couple of times here, I've been approached, not only me, I think other foreign staff, and they will ask us to fill some sort of surveys that, how do we think, what are the major challenges we are facing here? And we would pen them down. And how do we think, can we advise on how the government can improve the situation or our situation with respect to those things that we consider challenging? And we would state these things, we would put them and try to put our advice. And I believe perhaps in the future, if they really want to become internationalized, they would take some of these things into consideration. So you might stand to agree or disagree with me, but yeah, this is what I think as of now that we are having this webinar. And from my experience.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is very important for our brothers to learn. But don't, you know, the only constant thing in life is change. If it means, okay, it's all about choice. If you come here, the point is put in your best, get all the climb as much as you can climb, you know, get all the accomplishments that you can get. And this will give you a soft landing if you want to go anywhere, even if you plan to relocate to space in the future. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So the point here is, how do we get into the system? It's good you are raising this. How do we get into the system? What we need to do? How do we get the best from the system? And it's up to us if we want to relocate, you know, or not. You know, that is totally up to us. But the key thing is getting the most, putting ourselves in a position of advantage. What is the position of advantage? Such that, just like a brother Sam mentioned, our brother Sam mentioned, that they meet with him and ask them to bring students from a specific part of the world. And they told them, oh, okay, from Africa, we want that guy. We want this guy to help us get people. You can also build such, you know, reputation in wherever you are. Even if you are in the States, you are in Europe tomorrow, that trust has been established. You know, you have made a record there. Just like the same thing, they would approach me, okay, help me get student, help me get this, help me get that. You know, build those things regardless of where you are. Let's change the orientation, get the best from the system, make a profile, build a profile for yourself, for your country, for Africa. And if you wish to leave, I think nobody will tie you down, or nobody will hold you down, except they are tempting you with money and you still want to take. Yeah. So
Let me add something very quickly. Yeah, please, Huda, let me add something very quickly to that. Yeah, just for our preparation, everyone prepare.
Sorry, somebody's hand is still up.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, but can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, just for our preparation, in line with what Professor Sam said, we are planning a door opener paper. We're planning to publish a door opener paper, which is going to have 1,000 co-authors.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes, and when you are part of that paper, and I encourage all of us to prepare ourselves, the initial design is already in place. It's going to be extremely multidisciplinary. We're going to discuss with top journals that we'll work with to publish it. And we hope that we may also be able to get some funding to work around it. We are not sure fully, but we're going to publish a paper that has 1,000 co-authors. What's that going to do for us? Once your name is on that paper and you've contributed, when you put it on your CV, anybody who sees your CV and sees that paper, you know what they're going to do? They're going to make sure they employ you, because the world is looking for, you know, one of the key factors for ranking of universities is internationalization. And internationalization is built a lot on collaboration potential. And if you attended the meeting we had with Professor Edmond when he was moving to the UK, you may have heard him say one of the important factors they mentioned, in fact, they diverted attention when he talked about OAD and talked about the resources at our disposal and the people we are working with, they were not considering too much anymore the focus. They became very excited about the possibilities of what we're going to do together, of having access to people from all African countries and having access to a growing network of highly professional individuals who are publishing a lot and doing beautiful things. So please prepare yourself to be part of that paper. It's going to be 1,000 co-authors. We have, as I said, we started the initial design, and we're going to have people from every field. And when it begins, when you put it on your CV will shake. And anybody who sees your CV, yeah, they will say, we want to employ this person because this person gives us access to immediate, at least 1,000. And anybody who can have 1,000 people means they have 10,000 people. And of course, our OAD, we are intending to, in the next 5 to 10 years, to hit 200,000 members. 200,000 members, and at least 25% of us should also have running businesses. So at least 50,000 amongst us will have companies that are running in addition to what they are doing. And we have said it again and again, nobody who hangs around with us is going to be poor. It's not possible, because with 200,000 people, we can patronize you, whatever you're doing, we can help you stand strong. And whatever you're doing in one country that is working will help you to expand it to, to other countries. Somebody else will begin to make money in another country as a result of what you built up in your own country. This is one missing piece, which Africa is now getting through OAD, which is coordination of our capacities. We've got competencies on the continent, but many of us are working and struggling as individuals. So please, all these conversations we're having about who is leaving, who is coming to China, who is going to the US, all these are peripherals. Actually, in the years to come, we are all going to return. And when we are returning, of course, we've talked about our university. We are building our university of culture, science, and technology. Soon, the next thing we're going to be doing is the next stage of our university plan is budgeting. We're going into budgeting so that we can know how much do we need to start off. Which departments are we starting with? Which curriculum are we able to build immediately? And when we are done with this, of course, we are also initiating conversation with political leaders across various African countries. Any country that behaves well, we will start our university there. If we find a president who cares about their people and understands that everybody should be strengthened to become, to be able to contribute. What we are looking for, we're not fighting with anybody. We just want to be able to contribute better to sustainable development. Because if Africa does not attain the SDGs, SDGs are failed. And we are the ones that should make it possible for Africa to attain it, because localization is key. So let me hang it there. But please prepare yourself. We're going to announce. And remember, tomorrow, in 2 days, that's on Tuesday. Of course, tomorrow we're continuing with this meeting. And on Tuesday, the same time, 8 p.m., we are continuing. We're going to have an engagement with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, where they're going to tell us about the effort they're making in terms of mobilization of investment and the call for innovative solutions, green technologies, which we know that a lot of Africans are doing beautiful things in this, but are not at the moment packaging for global engagement. So please prepare yourself. Beautiful things are happening. And our job is to bring opportunities to our doorsteps. And your job is to take it and do with it whatever your competencies permit. So just get ready, because more and more are coming. And we're going to work hard because we have what it takes. Please, over to you, moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Samuel and Dr. Oaad. I will hand over to this. I don't know how to read the name, DES. Please, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Moderator. I hope I can be heard.
Clearly.
All right, my name is Comrade Sam. I'm sorry I'm using a this because that was the quickest thing that could come to my mind when I was registering. I actually joined 35 minutes later than 8 p.m. Apologies for lateness. And then the lateness would also inform my seeking clarity as to whether or not the third resource person, for this meeting of minds have said a few words or have addressed, or would the address come tomorrow since the program still continues till tomorrow? That's the question I believe Dr. Elijah Oaad would probably address when I'm done with the comment I would make with respect to whether the integration of African scientists here in the Chinese system, especially in the academia. So I just wanted to, make a very simple contribution with respect to the very salient issue raised by a gentleman, I can't remember his name, as to whether white people are leaving China, which is a fact. I just want to, not to repeat what has been said. I think, in my opinion and from my experience, I think that the very first thing that a doctoral, scientist or someone who is ready for a postdoctoral training in a particular field need to answer is, have they pictured where they want to be in their career 10 years from now? Is there a clear picture as to whether or not they have seen what they want to do with their knowledge, their expert knowledge, 10 or 5 to 10 years from now? I'm very sure that in this STEM, and particularly in biochemistry and molecular toxicology, which is my field, I think that in terms of specialization and compartmentalization of research areas, much is still much is still desired as far as my experience here in China is concerned. Take for example, for people that would appreciate this, the area of toxicology. In a university, in a middle level ranking university in the United States or in Europe or anywhere else in the West, one person could commit 2 decades of their life to research of arsenic-induced toxicity, right? That's all they do. But here in China, you could see a unit that just says toxicology. And when funding comes, there's a competition as to where the money goes to. So not to take too much time, I think that, like Professor Elijah said, this is a place to build capacity. Like when capacity is built and you have proven yourself to be productive under very difficult environment, then of course the global space is there to give you a warm embrace and the opportunity to continue to be more productive. So that's just the point I want to make with respect to why I think people are moving. I think people are looking at long-term stability as far as their career is concerned, because no matter how fanciful we try to describe this, there's a lot of barrier and ceilings for foreigners here in China because of the limited resources to go around. So that is the bottom truth. But that brings me back to my question, Dr. Elijah. Thank you for what you're doing. And I just wanted to be sure that the third resource person has spoken, or is she going to speak tomorrow, since the program is still on tomorrow. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Sam, she will be speaking tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much. I will give the floor to Tabitha. Hello, Dr. Tabitha? Hello? She raised her hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. And
could you be a little bit audible?
Oh.
Please, please, yeah. Can you be a little bit audible?
Okay.
Okay,
okay,
no
is
worries.
this better?
It's okay, it's okay.
Okay, I was saying thank you very much for the organization and the presentations. I kind of start with a question. I've been here a little bit for a few years, but for me, my question is, if especially I had Professor saying that he has been here for 8 years plus, and looking at a range of 5 years ago, and the welfare of foreign students, masters, I mean, okay, beginning from bachelor's, master's, and PhD and postdoc, are we getting better? As you mentioned that the system is getting more open. In your own observation and hearing probably what other people are experiencing in different universities, in different provinces, are we heading to a better note? And should we continue encouraging our dear African brothers and sisters who have no knowledge of what really some people go through here to come here? Because we are here as ambassadors, but then sometimes what people are going through seems to be saddening than encouraging more people to come here. So being here, having been here longer, are we taking the right route of things getting better and the nation getting more open, or actually it's getting from a good note to a bad note? That is one question, and I think a challenge, especially the post-COVID China and policies when it comes to foreigners, Africans in particular. And would you encourage your sibling to come in this environment, like right now, how it is? I'm not sure in other provinces, but I've talked to a few people, and really some things are quite saddening of how universities are treating foreign students here. And the other concern is, if you are saying that the nation is getting more open, is there any registered record of how, for example, family life, I mean, is being considered here for the past 10 years when it comes to the foreigners they are allowing? And definitely you add in your CV that you're married. Unfortunately, your wife will not be allowed to come. Your kids will not be allowed to come in easily until you push and push. And for students, PhD and below, it is even worse. That, I mean, there is no assistance that is given unto them. I've seen people shed tears here. Their marriages are almost breaking. The pressure is too much. Some of them have been forced to quit. I know more than 4 students who have quit their PhDs because the pressure of the marriages being at stake and their families being at stake is way heavier than continuing with a PhD, because the system is still so locked up. So for me, those are my concerns. And as we have such meetings, can we really be more open, even as we tell other people back home, apply or don't apply? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tabitha. Yes, about your questions, whether or not we need to encourage our brothers and sisters to come to China, I would say this. Post-COVID, well, I don't know if I should say post-COVID, because it seems the COVID is still on here, right?
Yes.
So, like for us, for me, I still do the PCR tests. At least in a week, I do about six times out of 7 days. I do every day. And the government has some policies. I don't know, we are quite different I might be different as a person in seeing things, the way I see things sometimes. If I say this to you, I don't know if you would agree with me or not. Do you know even the locals are tired? I mean, of the zero, it's not been easy on them, the zero COVID policy. You know, they are tired. They are tired. When you move close to some of them, you would get to know. And they don't even want to, all the lockdowns, all the restrictions, they just want to be free. They do the same complaints. If you are close to some of them, you would understand what I'm saying. Yes, they may have certain kinds of further restrictions for us. I mean, we may be further restricted as foreigners. But I think this COVID era is a special era. I don't want to say post-COVID because it seems it hasn't here. It hasn't gone. And I won't say no, you shouldn't encourage people to come. Of course, if they have better opportunities, why come here? I don't know if you understand my point. If they have offers, for example, if they want to study for their master's or PhD or undergraduate programs, and they have better opportunities elsewhere in the world, why ask them to come? I would simply tell them, okay, I think if you go to that country or this so institution in that country, it would be better for you, not here. Like 2 years ago, I gave you an example. I helped a student to get a master's admission here. And at the same time, that same student got in France, one of the good institutions in France, though English taught, his program was English taught. And we look at it together. I'm here, and I got for him with one of the PIs, everything, he got the ANSO scholarship, if you know ANSO. And he told me, oh, these are the things on ground. And I told him, well, have you checked both institutions? And he said, yes. I said, which do you think would be helpful to you, I mean your career? Then he said he thinks that considering the institution, the country, and the department, what they've been working on is more closer to what he wants. Then I told him, don't worry. I think it's better you go for that opportunity. I would discuss with the PI here, even though he has lost a slot. You know, so it depends. For people that don't have anything, I think on hand, you would still encourage them to come, and knowing fully well that I'm not siding them, because I also have to be careful. We are here together. But I'm just telling you the way I will act, and these are some of the secrets that have helped me live here for this long. You know, I ignore certain things, close my eye to certain things, go for what is more important to me, like why I'm here, I want to get certain things, right? And grab what I want and avoid every other things as much as I can, just to have peace of mind, focus on what I have come here to do. If God says I will be here for X years, when it's X years, I would leave. We are all from Africa, right? We may head back to Africa. We may head to other parts of the world, depending on our individual choices and what nature has destined for us, or what God has destined for each and every one of us. So be encouraged. I can feel your pain. I go through. I was telling Dr. Oaad some times ago that since February 28th of this year, I have been doing COVID tests, and there is no week since that time that at least I don't do COVID test 5 times since February 28th of 2022 till date. I still did today. I did yesterday. I did on Friday. I will do on Monday, tomorrow. It's not convenient for me. So I don't know if you get me. Another thing I would like to say is, You should have a community. I don't know where you're from. I mean, your association in your country. You know, if there are some things, don't be quiet about some of these things. There are certain things that the diplomats in your consulate or your embassy can take up, or your association. If you're from Ghana, you're from Namibia, you're from Nigeria, you're from Zimbabwe. Like, for example, I'm from Nigeria. We have association, Nigerians in diaspora. If there are some serious issues that you're facing, you could reach out to the executives of those communities in your country and tell them this is what you're going through, as honest as you can, and let them know that you're not the only one. Other, if you're from Zimbabwe, for example, other Zimbabweans are going through this. And I believe they should take it up. If your concerns are legitimate and you have proof, you have fact to show. So I don't know if I've been able to answer you. This is the secret. I don't have any other secret, how I've managed to live here. Yes, things are not rosy. You only see the good side, right? And the smiles. But oftentimes, apart from meetings like this, where I tell you certain things, you don't get to see the ugly side. But you have to be encouraged. Please be focused. We left homes. I'm sure, although I'm not from a royal family from Nigeria, I'm sure some of us here are from royal families. Some of us are like kings in Africa. Maybe our parents control big things back home. Please put that aside. That is home. Focus on why you are here and don't get distracted by some of those things. Yes, sometimes some guys will even cover their nose when you pass beside them. Initially, it used to irritate me, but I just get blinded to those things. Not only me, a lot of other Africans complain. Focus on why you are here. When it's time, get what you can get. If you're, how do I put it? If it's destined that you only came here for PhD, get the PhD, get every achievement that you can get during that period. Learn every skills that you can learn.
Yeah.
Get every knowledge, build networks as much as you can. And when it's time, you can proceed to the next level.
Thank you very much for your advices that are very, very interesting. I will hand over to Dr. Eresamian. Sorry if I pronounce it in the wrong way.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make some few comments to what our sister, Dr. Tabitha, said. First, I actually want to say that I'm in Guangzhou. I'm presently engaged as a postdoctoral or as a researcher with South China Sea Institute of Oceanology. I have my children here and my wife here. And I brought my wife here and my children while I was a doctoral student, PhD second year. That was 2019. That was when I brought them here. So, and I actually want to say that some of our observation could be due to the scholarship, the stipend that the person is collecting, or maybe due to maybe due to lack of agreement between that person's or those candidates and their supervisors. Because if you are a PhD student, you have a reasonable scholarship. I was privileged to be awarded CASTOAS scholarship, and my stipend then was 8,000, which averagely in China was enough for I as a student and my family. But there are some people that are receiving less than that, like 2,500, 3,000, which some supervisor might think will not be enough to rent an apartment outside the school and still feed the family, and such that the student will be able to concentrate on his research. Some in such instances too could be responsible why there might not be an agreement between the PhD candidate and the supervisor that will enhance smooth invitation of the student. I don't know of any other points, but I think we need to consider that. So as we are making comments, we also need to deep to know the reasons why such invitation is being reproved. Because I know, apart from me, I know 3 of my friends that also brought their family to China,
did.
one 2018.
I also did.
As a PhD student, I brought my family.
Yes, sir. In 2015, my wife joined
Mine was
me.
2019.
Mine was 2017.
So that means, and we
So
all
I
brought
know
them
many, even here in my city, I know a couple of us. Almost everyone brought their families. Almost.
So
So
it's
she
so
may need to,
unfortunate.
Dr. Tabitha, those people in this situation, sorry, I just wanted to add to what Dr. Emmanuel mentioned. They may need to really find out why. And please don't also note that this COVID era is different from pre-COVID. You know,
Yes.
we all brought our families and during the pre-COVID, before the COVID started. So it's a different thing since the COVID started. Sorry, you can continue, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I'm done on that aspect. Then the second aspect is on the issue of whether to advise people to come to China or not. I must confess that before I came to China, 2017, I got a scholarship in Netherlands, but it did not work out. And getting China 2018 was the only opportunity I had, and I never regretted. And from China, I'll be flying to another place. So, China had given me the platform. So although there are constraints, my son could not go to school, and not that there are more schools that he could go to, but I could not afford international schools. So he's been taught at home. So, but I enjoy all those things, but China gave us platforms. So I want us to be somewhat candid too, because if we tend to share our challenges with our brothers back in Nigeria, in Africa, and try to discourage them from coming home, the platform that we have on which we are flying to other places, they will not have it. So I want us to actually consider our discussion with our brothers in Africa. Let them know the advantage here and also the disadvantage. Thank you.
Exactly. Let's be objective as much as we can, and as much as we can.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I have some questions for the audience. Like, one of my questions is, as Oaad member, how can the organization empower you, and how can you contribute to the development of the organization, since you are discussing about how to build our house? So the floor is open to everybody who has something to say, who have a contribution or a comment on that topic. How can OAAD empower you in your career or your research or in your business? And how you, as OAAD member, can contribute to the development of the organization back? So that is the question. The question is open to everybody, Dr. Elijah, Professor Samuel, and all our members who are in the meeting. So the floor is open. Just raise your hand or open your mic and speak your mind. Hello?
I really think this should be open more to the audience.
Yes.
Than people who have been talking. So please, anybody who wants to make a contribution, and just before we are done, let's remember we're going to take some photos before we close.
Yeah.
As we approaching close line.
Yeah, so the floor is still open. Dr. Tabitha, do you want to say something? Your hand is raised. Hello? Okay. Maybe I should call somebody. Amaka? Dr. Amaka? Can you say something about that question?
Sorry, I'm here.
Yeah. How can
I didn't know.
Oaad empower you?
I think the first thing that we normally try to avoid, especially at the start of things, is being available to attend and avoid waiting for finished products. It's to be involved in the process, in the preparation, so that when the product comes, we have a journey to talk about. So first thing is, as these activities are organized, as much as possible, I know we are busy, but as much as possible to participate will be very important, because one thing I've seen among human beings is if they join something and then they don't find the number, is kind of like captivating. They'll be like, okay, there is no good attendance, compared to the expectations. So even just someone being here is very important, but also is one thing that I learned, I think, from the last conference that I attended here is the awareness that can help us to build our people, but also change our mindset towards research to build Africa. And that is in the mind of running with a vision, the vision of OAD, bearing the general mind of the vision of African Union, I think, as at large, to help us then to kind of bring in the aspect of the Africa we want in our researches beyond just publications and having all these papers online, but yet tangibility is very small. And at the end of it all, when we have that, I think, like Dr. Elijah said, it will be in the mind of going back, not really to look for a job, but that you're going to add on to the university or whichever research company or organization you are going to work with. So I don't know if that answers the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. Anybody who wants to make a contribution?
There are two hands on. There's Kofi, there's Ham.
Oh, great. Okay, Kofi, I will hand over to you.
All right, thank you. This is Kofi, the coordinator for the Transportation and Logistics Research Group of OAD.
Nice
thank you so much
have you
for this
here.
program. To answer the first part of the question, how can OAD empower me? Let me say that OAD is already empowering me. What we are doing now today is one of the medium. I've learned a lot from Professor and Dr. Odi and the rest, the other speakers. Let me say that through OAD, I've had a lot of collaborative work with people from different parts of Africa. And I'm so happy that we are able to solve programs together. And it's one of the biggest gifts that OAD has given me, to meet all these people in my network. And I'm so grateful. So what do I also do back for OAD is to make myself available to also provide any service that I have to provide to OAD and the members. For instance, bringing people on board, other PhD students from other parts of the world. I brought some people from US and other parts to join the group. And also, as I said, through our collaborative works, we are able to solve programs and also helping others with information. There were times that people called me. I remember somebody had a postdoc position in my university, had to call me to ask a lot of questions about how the place is and, So I think that we have to also make ourselves available to help OAD in any capacity that we can. Beyond the research work, there are other things that we can do to help OAD. And so I just entreat everyone to be available all the time. Yes, OAD is empowering us and OAD can do more and we can get more benefits if we get involved. So thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, yes, Kofi is done. Huda, are you still on?
Yes, sorry. Thank you very much, dear coordinator. I will hand over to Dr. Ham for his contribution. So Dr. Ham, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Dr. Elijah, Dr. Emmanuel. So I'm Hamza from Nanjing. I'm a PhD, postdoc research fellow in Nanjing University of Post and Telecommunication. So last time is me that we shared conversation with Dr. Elijah. I remember I tell you I was too busy. I want to engage more.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. The first thing I want to thank Professor Emmanuel Samuel. Sorry. So the way the organization empowered me, first thing is the link that sometimes Professor Emmanuel Charles, because from that I know that there is how to apply for funds for international students or international researcher. That it was since last year. So I was asking how we can apply for research, like for funds. I don't even know where to apply. So the first thing I want to thank him for that links. I know how to apply for research funds, and I even the postdoc. He shared one links from Shenzhen University or something like that. Is in Shenzhen province. So I got a postdoc there, but finally I decided to stay here because I got another one and the city where I did my PhD. So for me, I can say this organization have already empowered me. Even I know I'm not participating more, and I know that I can do more for this organization. So maybe many of the from this they know me, but I was really have many issues from family, from research. So this is why I did engage more. So just to do to say what really this organization helped me. Even I'm not giving my best for the organization. so I want to say. And also another just contribution about another point that you have already talked is about why people are going back home. In my opinion is because we all know in China it's not easy really to integrate in the system because of many issues. Some people is because of their family, some people is because of their religion. I know because we talk with some guys, and some people also is for the they cannot get a favorable job or favorable position. So in my advice and my contribution is just you try to get more experience as you can here, because you travel from another country. You don't say, no, me, I just want to do my PhD or my master. Then after that, I go back. You have to get more. And it's possible really, as Professor Iman have already say, in China now, they are trying to open. It's the same example we got here. From my university, they also asked me, I want to find one from Senegal, like me, because I showed them that Africans, you can do something because I'm from Senegal. So that experience that people ask from Nigeria, I also face it. Find a student like you to come to the PhD and postdoc. So this is just to say that China is open, but they have target, they have their target, they have a kind of students they want or kind of professor they want. So you have to just do your best what you can do, and don't say they are close or it's hard to get position. It's very easy in some fields, of course, not all research field. That is true, we all know. Some research field is very easy to get position, even a good position in company like professional worker, not only researcher. So this by experience I'm sharing, because me, I have both of them. I work in company. I also now doing my postdoc in one university here in Nigeria. So thank you. I don't want to talk too much. This is what I have. I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Yes, there's Nabila. Nabila.
Yes, the next is Nabila.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nabila Shuaib Conte, and I'm from Mali. I'm a PhD candidate, first year, and this organization I've known it through Ulda, her publication, and I asked her to join the organization and also know about it. Because I'm also interested to know more about research and how this organization also is going to improve my research skills, and how also I can gain from it from other countries as African. My research region definitely is in logistics, transport, supply chain, and engineering. So today is my first time to attend a meeting like that, and I will be glad to share more experience with you, and also to contribute, of course, in terms of business, in terms of communication and public speaking, because that's what I'm also focused on. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the sharings tonight. I've understood, and I think it's a good idea to at least have much more researchers in our countries and develop some things fruitful for our countries, as there are many opportunities also in Africa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nabila. And before we continue, I would like to thank Professor Samuel once again for all the opportunities he has been sharing on our platform almost every day. He shared lots of opportunities. It is time for me to invite all of you to pay attention to what is going on our platform, because you can miss some very, very interesting opportunities. There are lots of information, lot of opportunities that have been sharing every day. So try to keep an eye on what is going on in the groups. So if we
Yes,
don't
it's
have,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry, just let me just mention that it's advisable. I know that groups are very obnoxious, and groups could be annoying sometimes, but OAAD's group, any message that drops there is capable of impacting your life and your career for a long time.
Exactly.
So please, we advise you, don't mute the OAD groups. For me, I'm in almost over 70, I think it's 76 groups of OAD. I keep all of them active because I know what's happening, and what's happening is able to help me, is able to help others. So keep the group and check the group at least once a day, so you can pick up whatever is happening, and then you'll be able to know how you can contribute. You'll be able to know how you get involved, because when you get involved, you'll be able to achieve more. The more the more you give, the more you can receive, but you will always get more than you give from experience. Yes, yes. Over to you. Another hand is up, Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy, happy?
Okay.
Okay, greetings to you all. It's my name is Tracy Happy. I'm from Zimbabwe. It's my pleasure also to be part of this platform tonight. But I didn't know anything about this group. So I would want to know, where can I join the group and something like that.
You're a PhD, right?
No, I'm not a PhD. I'm doing masters.
Okay, yeah, we have a group for masters. So you see check the chat box. You see Holder has sent her WeChat contact. Please connect with her on WeChat. She will invite you to the master group.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's all right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Holder?
Yes.
Okay, so you take note of Tracy's request for masters, OMG, not OAD main group, but the OMG group.
Yeah. I've already added somebody to the group right now.
Beautiful.
So anybody who wants to join OAAD or get information about OAD, just add my WeChat or visit our website. I will send the link of our LinkedIn, of our website, and all our platforms very soon in the chat box. So pay attention to it. So is there anybody who wants to say something? As far as the other question is concerned, I mean, how can OAAD empower you, and how can you contribute to the development of the organization back? Hello?
Yeah, it's like Isaac, you want to say something? Remember, this is the family meeting section, so we're just having free conversation. Isaac, did you intend to say something? Okay. Back to you, General Secretary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, or maybe you're trying to gather the links. I can hold brief.
Yes, I'm trying to,
okay.
to find the link here.
Okay, please carry on. Yeah, the hand that's just come up is Marv Nwobodo. Marv, please unmute yourself and proceed with your comment. Please unmute yourself. Your hand is up, Marv. Great.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
It's like you're joining from Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm joining from Nigeria.
Oh, great. Is that Chinenye?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh, that's interesting. Good to have you on.
Okay, thank you, sir.
My
inquiry is actually about the language barrier. I don't know these Asian countries. How do you guys cope over there? How do you manage to, interact with those the Asians with this? I mean, how do you overcome these language barriers to be able to effectively engage with your over there? That's my question. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, please, anybody want to answer her? Anybody want to provide answer? How do you survive language barrier issues in China, in Japan, in many Asian countries that don't necessarily speak English fully?
Yeah.
Hello. Can I say something?
Oh, okay. Is that okay, Maxwell? Maxwell, please proceed. Yes, Maxwell, please proceed.
Maxwell currently in Suzhou, China University of Mining and Technology, and I've been in China for about 4 years now. When I first came into China, the basic form of greeting, ni hao, which is hello, I didn't know. Prior to my coming to China, I didn't know anything about China. And when you talk about communicating in a place that people don't understand what you're saying, the first thing that is your friend is your phone, because you need it to have translation apps. So you have Google Translator installed on your phone. So you get to any place, you can either speak into your phone and then translate to go around. For those who have no idea or any knowledge about the language in an environment, that was very, very helpful. And then getting along, there are some in the course of my program, from my own experience, in the course of my program, I learned Chinese, so basic Chinese, and I also took effort to attend extra classes because I felt the secret of the Chinese is in the language Chinese itself, and I wanted to learn more about it. So I wanted to push beyond just being able to say hello or I want to buy this, I want to buy that. I wanted to be able to have conversations, so I sought to ask more. It took time. I wouldn't say I'm the best speaking Chinese, but foreigners who can speak Chinese, but at least I can be able to express myself and communicate. So basically, you need your phone and you need some language apps installed on it. even though you are not in China, even you are exploring other countries other than China, you still need translator. I think you have Bing translator, you have Good translator, and also Baidu translator online. You use it a lot, even up to, I believe, for those who are even still fluent, they still need it at some point to actually translate one or two things. So the translator apps are very helpful, and also you could try to interact too, meet with friends who can actually speak better than you. They could also help put through. So that's from my own experience, and that's the little I can say on that. So they are workarounds it. So it's not as if that because it's China is an Asian country and everybody there cannot speak English. Some Chinese, they learn English in school, although they cannot speak. They can understand when you chat with them. You can add they may not be able to have conversations fluently, but you add them up on WeChat or any of the platforms they can communicate with, QQ. You chat with them in English, they respond because they know how to read and write, but they may not be able to speak fluently because they are taught English in schools. So in an environment where everybody speaks Chinese and majority of people around us speak Chinese, there are still people who can speak English in the place. So it's not really a complete barrier or blockage, if I should say. I hope I was able to contribute. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate.
You're welcome.
Okay, Hoda, General Secretary,
Yes?
while you're getting the links, I think if we don't mind, may we take the group photo now? Because I think quite a number of people are possibly desiring to, while we are talking, if you don't mind, please, you may open your, activate your cameras so we can take the group photos while somebody is talking. So I want to, okay, yeah, please go ahead with what you're doing, Holder. I'm holding brief. I'll help you.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So, sorry, please, Chinenye, Marv, would you like some extra information, or do you think you've got something good for the question you asked?
I can give, I would like to add something to what has been said. I think the most important here to learn is, first of all, to take the language class seriously, to attend and do the assignments. It helps you practice. And the other one is to make friends with the local people. It's not easy to be with them, but try to make, to be friends with some of them. Those who have good Mandarin, good Chinese. That is very important because some of us come here and they learn local language instead of learning the Putonghua. Because out of China, we have to use the Putonghua and not the dialects. So it is very important to pay attention to the pronunciations and to learn the words. To get the right pronunciations, you need to be with people who have education. So their pronunciation will be very good. So you won't make some mistakes later. So that is what I can add.
Thank you very much, Holder. Let's just do a little talk around taking a photo. Please, I'm looking at the first screen. If quite a number of people are here, thank you very much for those who have opened their cameras already. Professor Samuel, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Marv. I'm happy to see your face. It's been a long time. Yeah, and thanks, Maxwell, for your inputs. Taufik, if you're able to open your camera, please, let's get that done. Yeah, Ibrahim, Edison, thank you, Zifa, for opening your camera. Thank you, Kofi. Thank you, Catherine, Merchant. Thank you, Gabriel. Yes, once we have a full complement on the first screen that I'm going to capture, please let's, if you are able to open your camera, we'll take the first one in a moment. Yeah, oh, great. It's looking good, and I'm going to take the first one in just a moment. Okay, the first one is looking good. Thank you, Ejima. Thank you, Predzuro. Thank you, Gideon. Your photo is looking like like yourself. Yeah. So but I think the photo is not moving, so it's like it's a photo. Okay. Yeah, Maxwell, if you can still leave your camera on, I'm going to capture it now, and it's good. People are smiling. Yeah, this is going to be very useful for the OAD. Thank you very much for the smile. Thank you, Charles. Treasure and a blessing. Thank you. Okay, I'm capturing one right now. I hope I'm still smiling myself. Okay, yeah, great. I've got the first, and I'm going to go to the second screen. Please, second screen, please, people on the second screen, if you can open your camera, that would be really useful. Frederick, Okoth, Ibrahim, Homi, Taha, Dafala, if you're able to open your camera. I'm sorry that another person cannot be talking right now when I'm doing too much talk about photo. Chibike, Joseph, Resaya, Prince, anybody able to open the camera here? So I'm going to capture. Just now. So if you're able to open your camera, then we're going for the, we'll capture this and we'll go for the third screen. Yeah, if maybe in our next meeting, we'll begin to take when we are 100 or when we are just about 90, because we've allowed the drop-in to happen. Thank you so much, everyone, for, of course, we're still talking and we'll get more people to say. I'm on the last page now, about taking the screen for the last page. And we appreciate everyone's involvement. And of course, thank you, because we know that, yeah, we have an understanding that there is something we can do for the organization. And it's beautiful to hear the testimony of what the organization already is documented to have been doing for people. And it's a good time also for me to announce that the last count we have collaboratively published 76 research articles, by the organization and in important journals, in journals with a good impact factor. We published 76, and we are just counting. We are hoping that by the end of the year, we'll publish 100 before the end of 2022. We are targeting 100 papers. A lot of them are already, in the making. Many of them have been submitted. Some are under review. And of course, one of the things we do is that before any paper is published, the OAD editorial board first goes through the papers before we send them out to journals, so that it reduces desk rejection, because experienced people get to look at it first. But of course, these are works done by research groups, and that's really beautiful. And just be on the lookout, as we've said. Also, as we said, the 1,000 co-author paper is in the making, and we're going to have all of us on board. Of course, the registration, official registration, member registration is also cooking. We've finished the initial coding, special coding for the membership ID, which is going to help us to have individual dashboard for each person, for you to be able to document and record your engagement with the organization. Because we are in a long-term engagement. It's a lifetime thing. You can never outgrow OAD. Even if you become president of your country, there will be other presidents. So you cannot say that you don't want to be in the organization anymore because you become president. Because there are a lot of things we're going to be doing for you. You will need us when you're president. So don't forget, you're going to need us. And we'll be willing to help you to make your country work more effectively and to achieve your targets as a leader in your country. And of course, some of us already have taken up important positions in our countries, and we are still engaging. We are still having meetings and talking, and great things are happening. If you check the text box, you're going to see the website of the organization and other media platforms. Please follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, check what's going on there and encourage other people to join as well, to see what's going on, because we're doing something that's going to be, it means a lot for the continent of Africa. And we hope to keep doing this. As we said, it's a long-term thing, and we hope to keep achieving what has to be achieved. I think maybe that was closing remarks. I don't know, but I'll hand over back now to, I think I was just talking. I'll hand over back to the, the moderator for whatever she wants to do.
Okay, thank you very much. A quick reminder of our tomorrow's meeting, because this meeting is crucial for us as African graduate students here. So the meeting, please don't miss it, because it will be about the opportunities that we have in USA. So please make sure to be on time, because we start on time. So
please invite other people.
Yes, invite other people. Don't forget to share the flyer with the others, and the link will still be the same. So don't need to change. It is still the same code, the same password. So thank you for showing up today. I will hand over to Dr. Samuel for the closing remark.
Just before he jumps in, on Tuesday, we're going to be meeting with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization.
Yes,
we're going to share the link.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, 20th.
Yes, 2 important events tomorrow and after tomorrow. So don't miss it. So thank you, Dr. Samuel. I hand over to you.
All right, thank you, Holder. It's such a big opportunity to converse with my fellow brothers and sisters. It's a rare privilege, actually. So I really do appreciate this, and I really want to thank you for availing yourselves to attend this meeting. And I do hope we have all learned one thing or the other. Like personally, I have learned some things, I must be honest with you, during this meeting. And there is one thing I also would like to mention. You see, our wants are many, right? But our needs are actually fewer, much fewer than our wants. And I'm actually trying to talk from the perspective of contentment, building trust. Yes, of course, I want to become a multi-billionaire, right?
Yeah.
But not at the expense of certain things, What are my values? What are your values? We should have common shared values. And what are these values? It should be centered towards humanity, Of course, every one of us would like to have a community, let's say as Africans, as Nigerians, as Zimbabweans, that is safe, where we can trust one another and entrust a lot of things into each other's hands without bothering whether things will get messed up or not. So it is important as young scholars and young academics that we try as much as possible to build trust. If trust is lacking, then let's forget about all we've been saying in terms of building a better Africa. Knowing fully well that someday, somehow, we would exit this world, no matter how rich or how highly placed you are, regardless of, even no matter your accomplishment, a time will come and you would look back and just say, oh, I was actually struggling for all of these things, and you would laugh. That reminds me, I would quickly refer to Mike Tyson. I don't know if any one of us have seen that video. There was a video Mike Tyson made, and he was like looking at, in that video, he was looking at all his belts, and he said something that all these things are garbage, that he bled because of all these things. You know, he's one of the greatest till date in the realm of boxing. But what I'm trying to tell us is, even as young scholars, as we aim high, we want to become recognized, we want to become rich, we want to become famous, we want to become wealthy. Please, at the center of this all, let's us build integrity. Let's be honest with one another, you know. Let it be that you can transact with someone on this platform that you've never met, and you would have confidence that such a fellow would not defraud you. I don't know if I'm communicating. It's key. It's important. It is only this way that I think this is very important to building that sustainable Africa, you know, that we have been thinking and dreaming of. So I would encourage us to be open, to be straightforward, regardless of the situation surrounding us, regardless of the circumstances. Let what we said yesterday be the same with what we would say today, and let it be the same with what we would say tomorrow. Let it be that I am looking for somebody to collaborate with, and I can run to Oaad platform and find people that are potential for that collaboration and link up with them and entrust things into their hands, from documents to financial commitments and all that. And I would be at peace that everything will go well. Trust is key. And lastly, please know that a win for one is a win for all. Let's cooperate. Let's be our brother's keeper like never before. And the previous point is very important. You know, if you have some sort of not straightforward character, then people will want to shy away from you, right? So please, let's be our brother's keeper. Let's help to lift others up. It only helps us as academics, particularly of African descent, when we support each other. Supporting other people won't take away anything from you, but rather you should be glad in your heart that whether the person acknowledges or not that you were part of that guy's progress or success story. You know how it feels. You can just be telling some people, oh, you see that guy, he's a Nobel laureate. Oh, I contributed to his, at some point I helped him review his paper. I helped him address some comments, you know. Please, let's be our brother's keeper. Let's promote one another, let's encourage one another. I think these are some of the things I have to tell us as brothers and sisters. You know, even though sometimes we would disagree, but we should disagree to agree. You know, you don't expect me, like Dr. Oaad, I don't expect him to agree with me 100% on certain things, except we eventually find out that actually what I'm saying is right. You know, same thing, I don't expect I think he shouldn't expect me to agree with everything he's saying when he mentioned at the first instance, except I'm able to verify to see that exactly what he's saying is correct and precise as at the time he was telling me. So, but this doesn't mean, we disagree doesn't mean we would not work together. You know, there will be disagreement among us, but we should learn to resolve things amicably, build trust, and let's not generalize even when we have conflict until and unless we find out and look for amicable means to resolve problems. I'm saying this because of the Oaad research group, to be specific. You know, you would have conflict at some point. But even when you have conflict, you should look for amicable ways of resolving conflict. And more important is the objective that brought you people together, promoting research and science among young academics towards realizing the OOAD stream. Thank you. I would like to stop here. Thank you for your time once again.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you for everything you have been doing for the organization. And thank you to everybody. We are really happy to have you on board today. We hope to see you tomorrow and after tomorrow, and hope to see you at the other OAAD events, and especially the next family meeting. God bless you and have a fruitful week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, bro.
Au revoir tout le monde.
Night.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye. Zaijian.
Auf Wiedersehen. Raymond, thank you
Au
very much.
Raymond.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Yeah, your green suit makes a lot of sense.
Thank you very much.
You stole the show today. You are the man. I think
Absolutely.
You should give some recognition. Like
yes, man of the match.
The man of the show for tonight. Yes.